Good morning, everyone. I'm Ngozi Akinyele. You're welcome once again to the platform, Nigeria. Let's just all rise as we take the national anthem, please. A round of applause for Urban Peace Orchestra. Thank you very much. You may be seated, please.
The platform, and that was indeed a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. I'm sure you enjoyed it, we did. Now, the first speaker for today is Dr. Anil Gupta. He is no stranger to the platform, but would like to look into from the history of Dr. Gupta over the years at the platform, and even Dr. Gupta as a person that is personally interested in the Nigerian economy. Well, what do you have to say as we go to Dr. Gupta's presentation this morning?
It's always nice to have someone who brings a global perspective, because we always have this notion that peculiar. People say, this is Nigeria, we're different. So it's always good to have someone who's looked at, seen how things are done all across the world, and brings it home.
Yes.
From a strategy, from an economic perspective, and brings it home and says, look, guys, this is possible. This is how these other people have done it. These are the key things you need to do if you want to get things changed. Now, that gives a lot of hope, because at times, you have a Nigerian saying it. People say, it's because he doesn't understand Nigeria. But he brings that perspective to it, and he's very used to the platform. He's very used to the country, and he's, a very well-regarded thought leader. So I think people should not look at what they've had Professor Gupta say before. They should come and expect to get some new things. I've spoken to one or two people who are really excited to hear him speak today.
Fantastic. And I like what you said, that he brings the global perspective to the local situation so that you can see that it's actually doable here in your country. Soji, you like Dr. Gupta.
All right. I really love him. In fact, he's one of the top 50 global thinkers in terms of management in the world. And I remember when he came the last time, he basically gave us a crash MBA course, if you remember, on,
Yes.
on strategy into marketing and all of that. So there's always something from Professor Gupta. But today, I think he's going to be speaking really to the heart of the nation, and we look forward to listening.
Fantastic. So let us go straight to Dr. Gupta this morning, the first speaker here at the platform after Pastor Kwoju Oyemade, the convener of the platform, makes his presentation.
Without further ado, let us welcome, of course, to the platform, the convener, Pastor Kwoju Oyemade, Senior Pastor, Covenant Christian Center.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. You may all be seated. First of all, I would like to thank all of our invited guests for honoring our invitation. And I'm sure you all know that our group of speakers are quite intimidating, so one shouldn't venture to say anything close to the economy in front of economic experts. So I will be humble and stay true to my calling, which is as a pastor, and stay with the subject of our faith. In that way, I'll be safe. Well, this is to welcome everyone, all right, both in the auditorium and also those who are watching live to this edition of the platform. This is an economic summit. And as I said, I am no economic expert, so I will not take up your time. However, as the visioner, people have always asked me repeatedly, several times, why do you invest so much in this program twice a year? And in answering this question, staying true to our calling, we believe that faith can play a huge role in transforming this nation. If we can take our concept of God from just a personal blessing and prosperity individualistic space to one of lifting up the collective, that if people of faith who call on the name of God can broaden their perspective of who God is and how he wants to express himself through us, we will change this country. For example, the good book says that we shall arise and shine, for our light has come, for darkness shall cover the earth and gross darkness the people. Now you can interpret that, right, two ways. And you can take the injunction that says arise and shine, that it refers to your own personal prosperity and progress in the midst of want and poverty. Or that you can look at it and say that if there is darkness and you are commanded to arise and shine, it means that the darkness around is a failure of you to shine. So one can look at it from a selfish, self-centered perspective, or you can look at it from one of service to humanity. Now this research, all right, was done by a non-religious scientific organization that values Nigeria as the highest nations where prayers are being offered on the earth in various expressions of faith. This, however, has led many people to become skeptic about the role of religion in our society. That the idea of depending on God to solve our national problems through prayer has moved people from a place of thinking, working, doing research, to bring about a change to a place of complacency where they are solely depending on God. And so they say even the brightest of minds are now waxing strong in superstitious theology. They may have a point, but the scriptures in fact say that to your faith add virtue, which is morality, and to virtue it says knowledge, which is scientific research. Without these two, faith will not yield its transforming power. We are not the only religious society. In fact, I will quote what President Barack Obama, in addressing a section of the Democratic Party in 2006, while he was launching his campaign, on why you cannot ignore the power of faith in the lives of public officials and how to reconcile the role of faith in our modern society. He said, and I quote, "I think we make a mistake when we fail to acknowledge the power of faith in the lives of people. If we are going to speak to the people where they are," he further said, "we must understand that Americans are religious people, that 90% of Americans believe in God, that 70% are affiliated to an organized religion, and that 38% call themselves committed Christians. This is probably the most advanced society in the world." And he said, "If we scrub our language of religious content, we forfeit the imagery and terminology through which millions of Americans will understand personal morality and social justice." He went on to say, "Imagine Martin Luther's speech without referencing all God's children. The summoning of a higher truth helped them to inspire what seemed impossible and move the nation to a common destiny." But to this inspiration that faith gives, we must add the values that morality injects in resolving some of even our economic problems. Some of our problems are really rooted in societal indifference and personal callousness. They are rooted in the imperfections of men. And solving this problem will require change in government policies, but it will also require a change in the hearts and minds of people. This is where faith can be used to appeal to the transformation of the consciences of men. Barack Obama went further, president, and said, "The majority of the great reformers were not only motivated by faith, but used religious language to argue their cause, because that is how they understood you could appeal to the deeper self. Religion in this nation must not be used as a divisive tool, but a tool to appeal to the moral conscience of men. We have heard from them that know that when men gather to steal public funds, the issue of tribe and religion is not taken into consideration." Finally, to this, as we said, that to faith we must add virtue, and to virtue knowledge. This exact knowledge is based on research. Every seed requires rain from heaven, which we can say is what we do when we pray, but it also requires nourishment from the soil of the earth. The seed of our dream for a better Nigeria requires nourishment from this earth. Institutional knowledge gathered over the years, and this is why we host this program, and we invite people who can inject into the seed of this dream Nigeria information that will make it grow. We have some of the best economic minds in Nigeria at this conference this morning, who also have experience in governance. So this will not just be an academic session. Also, my friend Professor Gupta, who has been described as one of the great economic mind thinkers in the world today, will bring to the table information on how nations similar to Nigeria have driven economic growth. Thank you for coming, and we believe this will be a powerful session and a seed for the transformation of this nation. God bless you all.
Thank you, Pastor Koji. Another round of applause, please.